Here it is, the original Oculus Quest. And just to get the basics out of the way, as you can see, it's all black, compared to the Oculus Quest 2, which is mainly white with some black accents. You may also notice that it's quite a bit larger and wider. This is definitely true, and along with that, the Oculus Quest, the original Oculus Quest, is actually quite a bit heavier when you're wearing it. The Oculus Quest 2 is definitely much lighter. Moving on to the back here, we have these pretty hard rubber straps that can be adjusted to fit a head of any size. Now, I'm not really a big fan of these rubber straps. I think the fabric used in, the very loose fabric used in the Oculus Quest 2, I think it's much better and much more comfortable on the back of your head. Because this very hard rubber will actually get pretty uncomfortable and will kind of start to hurt the back of your head after using the headset for a little over an hour. So I'm not really a huge fan of this strap, although it definitely does keep the headset pretty secure in place while in use. Now we also have this fabric right here that your head rests on. Now I really do not like this fabric. Even after just very short periods of use time, let's say 15 to 30 minutes, this fabric will really press up against your head and it will make it very uncomfortable. In fact, I've had many times where I've kind of had to take a break from VR just because of how uncomfortable this fabric can get. I've had to actually take the headset off my head, take a small, maybe 30-second break, because this fabric gets really, really uncomfortable and can actually just really hurt your head. Now moving on to the front of the headset, we have 4 sensors, just like on the Oculus Quest 2, and I guess sort of the Rift S, although the Rift S only actually has 2 and not 4. Now, what these sensors basically do is they scan your environment and they can see everything around you, and it allows the Quest to create a guardian boundary that will protect you and notify you if you're about to run into, let's say, a wall or a chair in your room while having the headset on. And one cool thing you can do with them, which is one of my favorite things to do, you can actually turn on transparent mode in the Oculus Quest, and it basically changes your background into whatever is around you, so it kind of looks like you're wearing an AR headset because you have that menu floating in front of you. Then you have your actual real-life surroundings around you. You can look around, you can pick up objects, you can see everything around you, and it looks pretty cool as long as you can kind of ignore the fact that it's black and white and a little bit grainy. Now, we have some different buttons and switches on the Oculus Quest. As you can see right here, we have the power button. If you press that, it will turn it on. If you hold it down, it will shut it off. Pretty basic. We also have the charging port, and as you can see, it is USB-C. So if you have an Android phone, that's pretty useful because you likely already have a USB-C cable, and you don't have to go out and buy one, although I guess you don't actually have to anyway because it does come with some charging cable. But I guess you would have an extra if you have an Android phone. Now, what is this little hole here? If you guess that it's a headphone jack, you'd actually be right. The Oculus Quest, the original Oculus Quest, does have a headphone jack, and it doesn't just have one, it has 2, one on each side. So you can actually plug in wired headphones into the original Oculus Quest. Right on the bottom of the Quest, we also have a volume button right here. You can turn up the volume, turn down the volume. Then we also have a lens aligner, so depending on how far apart your eyes are, you can actually use this slider to align the lenses and basically fit it perfectly for your eyes so nothing looks blurry when you're wearing the headset. And one other little thing before we move on to the specs, you may notice right there a little black rectangle near the top of the headset, and what that actually is, it's a sensor, so that when you put on the Oculus Quest, it will actually sense that you have the headset on and it will automatically turn on, and there's actually a lot of times no need to even hit the power button because it just automatically senses that the headset is on your head and it will just turn on. Finally, moving on to the specs, the original Oculus Quest packs a Qualcomm Snapdragon 835, which is a processor that was used in many flagship Android phones from around mid to late 2017. This includes the Galaxy S8, the OnePlus 5, and the Google Pixel 2 XL. In terms of RAM, there's only one option for RAM on the original Oculus Quest. It's 4 GB. You couldn't change it at all back when you could order this. It was stuck at 4 GB. However, you could option out the storage. You could choose between 64 GB or 128 GB. Now, the original Oculus Quest actually has dual OLED displays, which may at first sound impressive, but the Oculus Quest actually has a much lower screen resolution than the Oculus Quest 2. It also has a lower refresh rate at 72Hz versus 90Hz on the Oculus Quest 2. Now, despite this, the display on the original Oculus Quest is not actually that bad. It is still an OLED display at a 1440p resolution with a 72Hz refresh rate. That's still pretty good for a VR headset. Maybe not as good as the Quest 2, but still better than the Rift S at the very least. So with that said, does the original Oculus Quest still hold up to this day? Well, in my opinion, absolutely. I've owned my Oculus Quest for about a year and a half now, and I haven't noticed it slowing down at all in terms of performance, and pretty much everything has stayed almost exactly how it was when I originally bought it. I haven't had any issues with it at all. Is the original Oculus Quest, right here, a better buy than the Oculus Quest 2, or vice versa? Well, we already know the Oculus Quest 2 outranks the original Quest specs-wise in just about every area. It is simply a better VR headset. However, is the Oculus Quest 2 significantly more expensive than the original Quest? Well, I didn't actually know the answer to this, so I did a quick Google search, and I found out that the Quest 2 typically goes for about $300, sometimes more. However, the original Quest usually only goes for about $50 less. That's not that much less. They're actually pretty close in price, despite the fact that the Quest 2 is definitely much better. Now, you may also remember that when the original Quest came out, you didn't need a Facebook account to start using it. You only needed an Oculus account. And when the Quest 2 came out, all of a sudden a Facebook account was required to actually use the headset. You might think that the original Oculus Quest, if you buy one used, doesn't require a Facebook account. However, this isn't true. Even if you buy a used Oculus Quest, if it's been completely reset, in order to be used, it still needs a Facebook account. In fact, all Oculus headsets, or at least all Quest headsets, as of October 11th, 2020, need a Facebook account to be used. So buying an older Quest is not a way to get around that, unfortunately. So finally, after taking this all into account, in my opinion, the Oculus Quest 2 is still a better buy. Sure, the Oculus Quest 1, the original, definitely still holds up, but from what I've seen, there's absolutely no reason to go just $50 less for this compared to the Oculus Quest 2, as there really is not much of a price difference, and the Quest 2 is just simply a better console. With that said, thanks so much for watching. I hope you've been enjoying these modern tech videos that I've been doing. I've definitely been enjoying making them. And yeah, thanks again, and hope you enjoy future videos.